is December 29th, 2017.
I like that read. This is Nerd Bourbon, episode 30. I am Award Master Seth Sturgill.
And I am co-award manager, or whatever the hell you just said. I wasn't paying attention.
Award Master, I said
Todd
it half
Sturgill.
a second ago.
I don't... I have to get...
Jesus Christ, Todd.
The giggles are in my soul.
This is already such a shit show. Oh, man. 30 seconds in, and this is already such a shit show.
The thing is, it took us about like a minute and a half just to start recording this.
Yeah, because we're going to record it, and you're like, because normally like we have to hit record at the same time so that it's easier on the edit, so I can put it both in, and like on the timeline it's all in the same and whatever. And Todd normally counts down from 3, like 3, 2, 1, and then we both hit record and we start recording. And Todd's like, "All right, you ready?" Just dead silence. And just like I'm like, "Did you just fall the fuck asleep right now?" Like, we're both just gonna take a nap here on mic. That might be pretty meta. Let's do the Nerd Bourbon nap episode. Let's
do it.
That's good content. That's innovative content right there.
Just put your head back. Everybody put the head back. You'll
Close
know
your
when to
eyes.
wake up when the our little closing theme happens.
We'll play a very loud, like, what's that fucking alarm that you use, that like white noise alarm that you use?
You're gonna talk shit about my alarm. My alarm is it's not set to a beeper. It's set to a radio station, but it's not on any radio station, so it's just pure white noise.
Jesus. It's horrifying, because like every now and then, like, I'll hear your alarm go off and it just sounds like a fucking, like, it sounds like a banshee's call. Just like...
And the thing is, I've said this, the only time it actually startles me is when I forget it's set, and it's just like, I'm already up when it goes off.
That's so fucked up.
But for me to actually wake up to it, it is such a quiet, calm awakening. It doesn't even faze me. I'm just like...
fucking loud ass, distorted white noises. Time to greet the day.
I mean, I lay... It takes me like a solid, like, 30 seconds to just... get up, and because that's another thing, to get up, to shut my alarm off, I have to actually get out of my bed.
Well, see, you're smart about that, because that's Anastasia's thing, is she just snoozes it, like, just in her sleep, like it doesn't even bother her.
Well, that's the problem. Like, you gotta keep your alarm away from you, so you actually have to get up, and the moment you're up, you're up.
I don't know if that would even work for her, to be honest with you, but
that's terrible.
Anyway,
so let's get into this.
Anyway. I'm sorry you guys have to witness this. You know what? Maybe it'd be a better show if we did just take a fucking nap. So we made it to the end of the year, Todd. And what's funny is this is almost a perfect 6 months of Nerd Bourbon. Episode 30, December 29th. Like, this is just a very clean... It pleases me aesthetically. This is a very clean 6-month cut of Nerd Bourbon. And you know what that means. End of the year, it's time to feel self-important. It's time to make a top 10 game of the year list. I always like doing this at the end of the year, even though nobody...
How do you want to do this? Do you want to start from 1?
We'll go backwards.
Backwards.
You got to build the tension, Todd. You got to keep the audience guessing. Yeah, essentially what we're going to do, we have our top 10 lists. I think we actually did order these kind of from worst to best. I don't want to say worst, because these are all... Just being on the top 10 means that you're better than most,
Yeah.
But from lowest to highest, I guess. And considering that you and I both have the same number 1, which if you are a listener of this podcast, it's going to be dreadfully obvious what that number 1 is. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's get the ball rolling on here. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through our top 10 lists of the year and kind of give Nerd Bourbon's overall Game of the Year award to our mutual number 1. And then we're going to talk about next year, and we're going to see some of the most anticipated games of 2018. Looking forward as we round out 2017 with a thud, a dull, depressing thud. You want to start us off? What's your number 10?
My number 10 is actually, honestly, did it surprise you that it was on here?
Yes, it did, actually.
Okay. Good. That's what I try to do. I try to keep it fresh.
Announce what it is so I can berate you afterwards.
All right, berate me for it. Splatoon 2.
Why the fuck is Splatoon 2 on your top 10?
You know what? I may not have put a lot of time into it, but I still enjoy it.
You put like 5 hours into it. I look at your Switch play history and it's like played for 5 hours.
Why do you stalk me so? Why do you stalk me so?
Every now and then I just look at my friends' profiles on Switch just to see what they've been up to.
Are you judging them? Are you judging them?
I'm not judging them. No, like my buddy Provost, like he plays so much more Switch than I do. So like it's just kind of nice to like I just like to see what everybody else is up to. You can't do that on PlayStation or whatever. Like
good. I don't like it.
I like to see like, oh, like let's see, like what Provost has been doing on his Switch. Oh, cool. He's been playing Pokken Tournament. He's put 45 hours into it or whatever. Like I don't know. I like that. It gives me more of a sense of community, a little bit of closeness with my friends. Find out what they've been playing without actually having to like, so what you been playing? How many hours into it are you? The Switch cuts that middleman out. I like that. So anyway, I was just I was a little shocked. I was like Splatoon 2. Wow, like out of all the games that came out this year, I'm a little shocked to see Splatoon 2 on your list. Like
I actually haven't played that many games if I think about it. That's why I was like the first I could easily make a top 5, but the top 10.
Well, like I would have even expected like Call of Duty to be on there before Splatoon 2.
No, I can't. I enjoy Splatoon 2 more than Call of Duty.
Look,
again.
Don't get me wrong. Splatoon 2 is a great game. I love that game. I'm the big Nintendo, Nintendo-year-old here. I love Splatoon 2. I've put, I think, around 30 hours into it. But, like, even I don't have it on my top 10. I was just a little surprised. That's all.
Fuck you.
What? Go into some more depth though. Tell us why Splatoon 2 made your list.
Oh, because it's just a fun game, and it's just more of the same. Fuck you. I hate you. Little bitch. You're sitting there with your little snide little comments. But no, I actually had the time that I have put into the game, I have a lot of fun with it. Like, I honestly want to play it more. It's just half the time, like, again, it's hard for me to jump on my Switch.
Why?
Because I play more games on my PlayStation, all right?
It's not hard. you don't have to fight a fucking lion, Todd, to play your Switch.
It is. You
can just play Splatoon 2. No, yeah. I made a comment, the snide comment you referred to earlier. I was just trolling, just because this is what everybody says about Splatoon 2. There's a game on my list that did not technically come out in 2017. A version of it did, and so that's why it's on my list. But like, and that's what I finally played it. And Todd's like, "Fuck you! That game came out in like 2015." I was like, "So did Splatoon 2." And he's like, Todd was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "I mean, it was called Splatoon 1."
You're funny. I'll give you that, because it is more or less the same game, but it's just a little different.
It's more of the same, but it's still good. I love Splatoon 2. It's a great game. It's everything the first game was and more. It's really I jump on every Splatfest and just fuck around. It's just fun. I still need to go back and play the single player.
I would jump on more of the Splatfest if me and you can actually play together.
See, that's a huge chink in Splatoon's armor for me. I honestly could see it being on my top 10 if it weren't for that. Like, that's a huge pain in the ass. Like, whenever Splatfest happens, we cannot easily play together. It's like horseshit.
It's not even we can't even easily play together. We cannot play together. The only way we would be able to play together is if we had two other friends of ours that would jump on at the same time and we went in as a full group.
That's so stupid to me. Like that. Yep. That's so weird.
That sucks for us because we more or less basically play together by ourselves usually. So.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. Like it's just a bummer. Like I don't know. Like it seems like you should be able to, because that's what they do with Salmon Run. Like the it's not as if they don't have the network infrastructure. Like that is in the game. The functionality to play with two people grouped up and then two randoms, that's in the game. It's fucking in there. Just put it on the Splatfest. Like that's so weird.
Well, I think for the most part it's like that because of they don't. I feel like in some stupid way they can't figure out what team you're on or something. And it's just
why would that be?
Know. I don't know. I'm talking shit.
That's so weird. I don't know. That's like actually inexcusable to me. Like, yeah, I actually can't believe that has not been fixed.
That's my main issue with Splatoon 2. Still a great game though. I love it.
Yeah, like
I want to play more of it.
Like on its base, it's a great game. My number 10 is Subsurface Circular. This is the short but sweet kind of like little 2-hour $5 game by Mike Bithell, who is an indie developer who did Thomas Was Alone and Volume and stuff like that. I really love this game. It's I said it when it first came out and I first played it. I said I was going to be tooting the horn for it at the end of the year, and I'm true to my word. I really think that this game is special, and it's not like some amazing innovative game, but I love the idea. I love the idea of these like short little vignette games that are like just sort of like 2-3 hours long, really bite-sized story at a bite-sized price. It was like $5, and it's just a high quality, well designed 2 to 3 hours that is not something like anything else you're going to play in 2017. And I don't know, it's just cool. Like I just really had a great time with that game. And I do think it's one of the year's best, and I do think you should seek it out. And I hope that the success of Subsurface Circular, which was made entirely in secret, like nobody knew about it until it was out. Like Mike Bithell never had like a hype trailer or anything like that. He just fucking released it. And I love that. Like I literally woke up one morning, learned of Subsurface Circular's existence, played it, loved it, and it was one of my favorite experiences of the year. Just full stop. So Subsurface Circular, play it. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is For Honor. When it comes to For Honor, I think both of us really enjoyed that game when we first picked it up, and then we realized its glaring problems, like with the gear system and shit.
Right.
That they've definitely worked on since then. Like I actually jumped on it recently to check out some of the new characters. I still jump on the game like frequently enough to where like it's a great game. It's I enjoy games with interesting combat, and that is definitely what For Honor has. For Honor is a very interesting like PvP experience, and I enjoy a good PvP experience.
That's one thing that For Honor does very, very well is its combat.
Yes.
Like the combat, say whatever you will about For Honor, its combat is excellent. Like
yes, I absolutely love the combat, and that's the low skill level combat that me and you do.
Yeah.
Like when you get into the higher levels of play, have you like I used to occasionally watch For Honor streams.
Yeah.
This shit's insane.
Oh yeah, people do some crazy shit with For Honor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I hope that when they inevitably make a For Honor 2, because For Honor did well, sold very well actually, and they're updating the shit out of it and they're keeping it consistent.
Oh, they still that's one thing again. It's Ubisoft, so
yeah. Which is a nice
Ubisoft,
thing. Like it's a nice
thing.
That's
the one thing we've discussed this before, but Ubisoft is really good at like, they've kind of like they're taking their time with these games and updating them, keeping them fresh.
Yeah, which I respect, and I think when For Honor 2 comes out, though, I really do hope that all of the kinks are ironed out. And
yeah.
I
still enjoy the game. It's one of the more fun PvP experiences I've had this year. So that's why it's at least it's at the low end of my list, but it's there.
It's a fun game. I really, really do like the combat. I played it for probably a month or so with you, just off and on, and we had a good time. Like we definitely had some good fun moments. And
oh yeah, dude.
I thought the campaign was fun too, for what it was.
Oh, dude. You shout out that like the co-op the co-op campaign shit was actually pretty good.
Yeah, we have a clip of some stupidity from the co-op campaign on our YouTube channel.
Our Nerd Bourbon Plays playlist. It's one of the first videos on the Nerd Bourbon Plays.
Yeah.
Check it out.
yeah. Ding ding. Yeah, no, we had fun playing that game in co-op. I don't know, it was just a fun little sort of like what?
Yeah, it's a fun experience.
A 4 to 5 hour.
Some of the most
Yeah.
It was some of the most fun I've had this year. So
yeah. My number 9 is Cuphead. Now, this game would be higher up on my list, except for the fact that I actually have not finished it yet.
Have you really?
I have not finished Cuphead yet.
Really?
Not for lack of trying. I've played. I'm on the final aisle. Like I can count on my one hand the amount of bosses I still need to fight. But the game is A, really challenging, and B, it demands a lot of time to just sit at my computer that I don't normally have. So I actually bought a Steam Link on Black Friday, and I've actually been playing it more on that. on the actual Steam link. So
Okay.
I feel like before the end of the year, I would like to get Cuphead finished. Before like everything's said and done, I would like to finish it because I know it would probably only be a matter of like an hour or two of me just actually sitting there beating my head against it and finishing Cuphead. But I really like Cuphead. Like, it still definitely earns a spot on my list. Like, Cuphead is just a fun, pitch perfect controls, amazing, unparalleled art style. I mean, it won the Game Award for Best Art Direction very deservedly. I mean, this is just the art design of this game is just fucking immaculate. Like, I almost still can't fucking believe it. Like, I almost can't believe that game exists and looks as good as it does. It's unprecedented. Like, the amount of like the hand drawn animation that is done in Cuphead is just fucking out of this world. It's a fantastic game. And it did really well. I'm so happy to see that game did well because it was in development for a long time and there was a lot of uncertainty around it. And in fact, the entire like design of the game, like the structure of the game, was totally changed. So I really respect Studio MDHR, and I really love Cuphead as a character. And we are almost certainly going to see more Cuphead in the future. So number 9 was Cuphead for me. Our number 8s are actually the same as Fate would have.
I was going to call that out. It's beautiful. It works out.
So let's tag team this. It's Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. You want to speak on that?
It's more Uncharted. Like I think we both said that like back when we first were playing it. It's more Uncharted, so you already know it's fucking top tier shit. And I love actually seeing more of the some of the characters we didn't see enough of. It's Chloe's story and it's Nadine and shit. Which I wish there was more of Nadine.
Yeah, I do too.
Honestly, but I do enjoy seeing more of Chloe's story, and it's a solid experience. They have one of the best. I love that little like the open world. They're basically their Madagascar level.
Yeah,
of
the
that,
Western
of
Ghats.
that game.
Yeah,
that shit is fantastic.
Yeah, here's the thing. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy it's more Uncharted, but it's not just more Uncharted. So what I think makes The Lost Legacy really special, and it's actually probably my like third favorite Uncharted game.
Okay.
It's really high up there actually for me. It is and I said this before when I was talking about it when it first came out. It's more fun to play as Chloe than it is to play as Nate, first of all.
Okay.
I'm not saying that Chloe is necessarily a better character, but they give like it's just more fun to play as her by virtue of her character. And I really like her interplay with Nadine, even though I do wish that we got a little more Nadine. You already shouted out the Western Ghats, which is a fantastic sort of singular, segmented open world section of the game, which is just impeccably well designed. It also has the series best puzzles.
That is some real shit. Yes, I do agree with you on that.
It also has a great little personal but still intimate story about your relationship with your father, and it's really good. Like it's just really really fucking good. Like the gameplay is shaken up in some interesting ways. So like it is more Uncharted in all the ways that you expect, but like there's a little tinge to it. There's just a little bit more. It's just a little bit more special than simply being more Uncharted. If it were just simply more Uncharted, it probably wouldn't be on my top 10, even though I love the Uncharted series. It's not. It's special. Uncharted Lost Legacy is a real good game. What's your number 7?
My number 7 is Absolver, and I will sing its praises really well right now. More or less just because I love the developer.
Yeah, we actually had an entire topic one week about Slow Clap.
Yeah, I absolutely love them and what they're doing because they like. So Absolver is a third-person open world like PvP experience. There is a level of PvE to it, and I honestly they gave you enough PvE where a part of me actually wants more PvE, and that's honestly something that will probably happen in the future, like as a DLC or something.
Okay,
super looking forward to that. But
have they already,
for the most
they've
part,
already like teased that.
Basically, yes. They are basically pretty forthright with like what's coming to the game. And they also listen to the community, which I love that. Like every change that has been made to the game is because of it is something that the community as a whole has kind of asked for.
Right.
And I haven't again. I actually put a decent amount of time into the game. So yeah, what the whole deal is, it is a PvP martial arts online experience. Like if you're playing online, you can just like run across other players, fight them. Then there's like the actual combat trials where like it's like the match made version of it. But for the most part, that's the thing. Like take For Honor's combat and then like crank that shit up. That's what Absolver's combat is.
Right.
There is definitely much more to it. There's like, so with like For Honor, you have like two, like there's like the top, you can attack top, block top, all that. But with Absolver, there is about like 4 different sections of so their combat system is used with the combat deck, and there's 4 corners of the combat deck, and within each of those 4 corners, there's about like 6 moves each. And there's just so much variety. Like I've been playing it recently because I actually wanted to jump on and check out like the most recent updates, and it's fantastic. And I was like, I am learning 47 moves currently. I have learned 45.
Wow.
Like there's 100 plus moves you can learn. It's
cool. There's that
insane.
much depth.
Oh, there's a lot of depth to that combat. Like I honestly respect a lot of what that game is, and honestly, since I've been jumping on it recently, I'm honestly, you might see me play it a little more going forward because like a lot of the changes to it, some of the changes. Did I tell you about this? They kind of have they've added like a currency to the game.
I don't think you did tell me about this. That's cool.
Yeah, they added a currency to the game, so you can actually salvage. So there's a lot of like, I actually stopped picking up loot because I was just gonna sit there in my inventory forever. That you can salvage shit now for this currency called fragments, and those fragments you can actually use to buy. Like you have to have a shit ton of fragments. Like I think you can get fragments from combat trials and all that, but you can actually use that to buy gear from this like store now in the meditation, or like the basically the bonfires of the game. And again, a lot of the changes have been made. Like you can actually continuously level up now, and you get these crystals. And the crystals, you're able to buy these like they're virtually loot boxes, but they're not microtransaction loot boxes. It's just you get the crystals from leveling up. And you can actually get gear out of that now. Like there's just a lot of ways to get gear, and I actually really enjoy that. And like gear is not important to the game. It's more or less like it's Fab Solver, all right?
That's actually it's actually really impressive that they've added like huge like gameplay things post launch, like currency. Like that's pretty huge.
Yeah, I absolutely love what Slow Clap is doing with this fucking game. And it's honestly, it could easily be higher on my list, but I fucking love Absolver.
That's pretty cool.
Like if anybody's into like an online like PvP experience, it's fun. Check it out.
My number 7 is Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a game that I really like, even love maybe. It's lower on my list because, and like I said at the top, the fact that it made the top 10 means that it's a great game, and it is a great game. It's a game that doesn't really do much new, but it does a lot of old stuff very, very, very well. It is Horizon really is in a lot of ways almost the perfect realization of every sort of open world kind of design trope of the past like 5 to 10 years. It's like all of that stuff mashed together. It has the disadvantage of coming out in the same year of a game like Breath of the Wild, which kind of shakes the whole open world genre up and kind of changed it forever.
Innovated the hell out of it.
Yeah, so like Horizon is a great game, but it's not an innovative game. You know what I mean? And like, but I do want to I don't want to talk about that in too much of a negative light, because the area that Horizon absolutely nails And I love the open world stuff. Like I said, it's all done extremely well. The gameplay is really really fun. But the area that I did not expect it to nail, the area that a lot of open world games don't nail, Zelda included, is the story. This game has a phenomenal story.
I ruined the story for you recently.
Yeah, a little bit, because I actually thought I don't want to go into it because I don't want to spoil the story. We can't discuss that anecdote without spoiling it. But it's just funny because and this happens like every now and then. Like I have a sort of like the writery portion of my brain, which
you kind of get into this sort of like fan fiction bullshit, like that you think that's what happens in the story. I'm like, dude, that's not.
Like
that's
like the game's one of the big like reveals of the game is it's not ambiguous, but it operates in this like weird gray area a little bit where like it was just ambiguous enough for my brain to think that it was one thing when actually it was another less cool thing. So like I mentioned it offhandedly and like Todd was like, that's not what happened. This is actually what happened. I was like, wait, really? Oh man, like I liked my version better.
And I was just like, oh, I'm sorry, but that's not what
I hate to burst your bubble, fuck boy, but the story is way less cool than you thought. No, but it's still, the story's still great, even aside from that. Like that, like I said, that's happened to me before. But yeah, like when the one and only time that actually served me well was the ending of Uncharted 4. And again, I don't want to spoil the ending of Uncharted 4, but like I'm a huge Uncharted fan, like I said earlier, and leading up to it, I had so many different like writer fan fiction endings planned out in my head, and one of them essentially is what ended up happening.
Yep.
So not perfectly, but it essentially is the one of the fan fiction, and like I was so emotional doing that epilogue to Uncharted 4 because like it was literally wish fulfillment. Anyway, Horizon, back to Horizon. Horizon's story is phenomenal. It's really really good, especially for an open world game. Like open world game stories are not usually this in depth, and I really want to drive that home. Horizon has like Matrix level quality world building. Like the world of Horizon is fascinating, and that is so hard to nail, especially out of the gate with your first release in a series. Like Horizon's not going to end here, but if it did, it would be just a really good singular universe that I really enjoyed living in for a little while. Even despite the fact that it didn't do anything necessarily innovative, the world is so unique and the story is so interesting that like it was still just a joy to play. And I really, really like Horizon. What's your number 6?
My number 6 is Samurai Souls, aka Neo. Now, you never got around to playing Neo, and I don't know if
not
you ever
really.
will.
No, I don't know if I ever will.
Yeah, because Neo is the moment I heard about it, it's like they're basically saying, "Oh, it's a Samurai Souls like," and you're like, "You have my attention." It is exactly what I just said. It is a samurai. It is a Souls-like game. But it does do things differently. It has a like Diablo-esque like loot system,
right?
That I honestly respect. I actually enjoy that. But in the I love some good combat. You know how I am.
This will be a recurring theme with your top 10 list.
Yes. I will actually go ahead and say, out of all like the Souls-like games, I think Neo has some of the best combat.
That's probably true. I think I would agree with that.
Because of the stance system, the whole like switching between the low, high,
right,
and medium stance, and then there's like these just like the sheath attacks and all that shit, like the quick draws, and there's a lot of depth to the combat, and I enjoy depth to my combat. I just realized like that is definitely some shit I enjoy. But yeah, Neo is technically. It is partially based on actual like events, but like obviously it's
come on. There's fucking demons and fox spirits and shit.
It takes from like the history,
right?
And does
but it integrates it with like Japanese folklore.
Yeah. That's why I said it's partially based on actual facts.
Very loose.
Partially.
There's like
Very
some
loosely.
historical figures that show up, but that's like
Some
about
historical
it.
figures show up and all that. But I that is definitely shit. I actually did I tell you I recently downloaded it. I'm actually playing it again. But yeah, Neo is a very difficult game that you can make easy
So it's the Dark
with
Souls of samurai games.
yes, the Dark Soul. Oh, fuck you! I hate you. I hate you so much, and I agreed with it. But yeah, fuck you! I hate you so. But yeah, Neo is a very fun game that can make you want to fucking shoot yourself in the brain sometimes.
Yeah, I played very little bit of Neo. Like I played the beta or whatever when it first came out.
Oh, don't, dude! I'm gonna be fucking honest with you. The alpha and the beta almost, like the alpha, fucking almost made me say, "Fuck this game. This game's going too hard."
Yeah, they definitely improved it with the beta though. Like,
Because like I remember playing the alpha, I was like, oh, "You guys gotta be fucking kidding me! This shit."
yeah,
They're that's see. Here's the deal: Dark Souls is difficult, but it's not like impossible.
yeah.
The level of shit that was happening in that Neo alpha, I was like, "Oh, you guys doing too much."
It was vast. I
But
was kind of
then-
turned off by the alpha too, but it was vastly improved in the beta.
Yeah, and again, it became a fun game, and it's its own thing. I don't like to consider it like the whole Souls like as a genre. It's cool and all, but I enjoy games that do something different. That's why I love Bloodborne so much. It's why I love Neo. Like you take the Souls formula and do your own thing with it, and like stand alone basically. I'll love you. Like Neo, you're a fantastic game. One of the best experiences I've had this year, and I'm still playing it because there's actually the DLCs that I actually haven't played through for the most part, and I'm still having fun with it.
I think a more apt comparison to Neo is actually the Onimusha series,
Yeah, which is basically what it
like
was
a proto Dark
supposed to be.
Souls. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, good game. It slipped through the cracks for me. Like it came out like in that weird, just like Horizon, it came out in that weird time right before the Switch came out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you play way more games than I do as a whole,
Yeah.
and like I kind of like I focus in on like games that I know I'm down for. Like again, I hear Neo was like a Souls like. I'm like, ooh, what?
Yeah, like with
Like I focus right into that.
with me, like I play a lot of indie games. But I also just like I mentioned this a couple episodes ago. Like I'm playing my Switch more often than my PS4. Like in all honesty, and I don't know. I'd play a lot of games on my Switch and stuff like that. And I have a broad spectrum of interests, and I actually am buying way more games now. Or sorry, I'm buying way less games now than I was even just a year ago.
But you still play more games than me.
But yeah,
even with your,
I
like,
still would say that I cover a lot more ground. Your tastes are a little more refined than mine are, I guess.
yeah. I tend to stick to the action RPGs basically.
Yeah, and see me, like, I love platformers, I love puzzle games, like, there's a million genres that I just love. My number 6 is Undertale. This is the game that you were giving me shit about because it technically came out in, like, 2015.
I'll give you shit for multiple reasons, but continue.
Undertale's a fantastic game. I love Undertale. I had a great experience with it. I'm not going to go back and, like, get all the different endings and shit like that, but I had my playthrough of it. I had my pacifist playthrough, and I just had a fucking wonderful time. Like, it's just a great game. And I talked about it when I first played it, but I'll just kind of quickly reiterate. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I know you have this weird disdain for Undertale and the Undertale fandom. See, for me, like, I don't pay attention to any of that shit. I just like it for what it is. It's just a really good sort of Earthbound-esque JRPG with the most, by far, for its genre, it has by far the most innovative combat or non-combat system that I've ever seen that actually plays into story, and it has a wonderful story with fantastic characters, great writing, great music. Like, Undertale is just a fucking assault on the indie front of, like, this is every good thing about a video game is present in Undertale, and it was all made by, like, one dude. And I mean, it's just the ultimate indie darling, you know what I mean? In terms of video games. And I just really had a great time with Undertale. And yeah, I know it came out in 2015. I played the PS4 version that came out this year in September. and fuck it, it's on my list. So
All right.
get over it. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Assassin's Creed Origins, a very fresh take on an old series.
Yeah, that's next on my list of games that I need to play is Assassin's Creed.
And, yeah, I've been basically hyping that game up for you, basically.
Yeah.
I platinumed the game, which you heard about in the was it episode 28?
Yeah.
I enjoyed almost every second of the game. Like, it is a fantastic, again, as a fresh take on an old series. I love the change. I love the more, it is more or less like a straight up RPG at this point.
Right.
And I love the combat.
I suspect that we will hear this phrase from you a lot, Todd.
That's why I slowed down and said it like that. But again, the changes to the combat, it's not just like the button masher, hit they are and
wait your turn to attack.
Wait your turn to attack. Like, hey, counter me, or sorry, attack so I can counter and just instantly kill you. Like, there is a level of actually it's not like the combat's not insanely hard, but there is a little more to it. There's actually power attacks, strong, the quick attacks that you can dash behind an enemy, do extra damage and all that, and it's just. And then it's a different take on you actually this is the furthest back they've ever gone, right? For the most part.
Yeah, it's Origins.
Yeah, it's the Origins. Yeah, you see, which is that right there is actually one of my favorite scenes. Not really a spoiler, but the scene where the origin is actually pretty good.
Do they do the horse shit where they say the title of the game this is the Assassin's Creed Origins?
No, they don't do that. But I do love where the logo comes from.
Ah, okay.
That's actually one of my favorite scenes in the story, and that's I'm not going to say no more.
Say no more,
yeah,
fan.
Yeah, fun experience. If if Assassin's Creed has burned you in the past, and you just if you want to I say honestly, just give it another chance. Come back and play Origins. You'll have a good time.
Assassin's Creed has burned me in the past. I'm gonna come back and play Origins. Because Nerd Bourbon, Todd from Nerd Bourbon recommended it to me.
Damn straight.
It gets the Todd stamp of approval.
The Todd stamp of approval. That's right. Fuck you.
Just your face with a big ass thumbs up.
It's terrible.
I'm looking forward to it.
That's the thumbnail right there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to playing it. It's like I said, it's next on my list of the sort of big.
It could honestly be higher on my list, but honestly, I think I told you this is my number 1 and 2 are the ones that are truly set in stone.
It's number 5. It's pretty high on your list.
I know, but it could be higher.
My number 5 is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I don't want to spend a whole hell of a lot of time because between we talked about its sort of presence at the Game Awards, we have an episode of Shots, which is weirdly by far the most successful piece of content we've ever produced.
It's for one, I already know why it is. It's because we put that episode at an opportune time. So
yeah, Hellblade was this weird kind of people didn't really know what to expect of it, and I think a lot of people were just curious as to if it was good or not. And not to toot our own horn, but I think with that episode of Shots, I think we did a good job of describing Hellblade and giving our thoughts on it. So just to sort of, Hellblade's a wonderful game that is it's not perfect. I have my issues with it. But overall, it tells a great story. It deals with mental health in a really significant way. Fantastic audio design. Melina Jurgen's performance is almost unparalleled in the video game, and it's her first acting role. I mean, fuck,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to talk too much more about it because we have a whole episode of Shots where we talk about it for 30 fucking minutes.
Yep.
And really get into it. But Hellblade's a wonderful, wonderful game, and I'm so glad that it's done well for them, and it cleaned up at the Game Awards. And it sold really well. They broke even on it and stuff like that, and they're actually turning profits. So support Hellblade, support this idea. I love the idea of the sort of AA indie release where it's a short but sweet AAA quality game for I think it was $30. I think it is $30. So
And I would have paid more for it.
Yeah, and I really hope that because of all this new exposure that it's getting because of the Game Awards, I really hope that a lot of people are like, fucking Hellblade, let me check that out. And I hope more people are turned on to it. So
Yeah.
if you are even considering Hellblade as a purchasing decision, if you are the least bit curious about Hellblade, check it out and make damn sure you play with headphones on.
Damn straight.
What's your number 4?
Number 4 is near. I always forget how to pronounce this fucking word.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Automato.
That's some real shit. Every time.
Hey, that's a solid pun. I'm gonna take credit for that. That's a solid pun.
That's good shit.
Automata, Todd.
That's actually a game that you actually. This is a game you actually plan on playing.
Yes, I bought it. I got it for $25 on Black Friday. I was excited.
That is again. It's got some good combat.
Jesus Christ.
It's become a thing. It's just gonna be a thing now.
I know.
But no, Nier is a really good RPG. It's Japanese as all shit. It's weeb as hell, but I loved every second of it. It does a lot of like interesting things with the game. At one point, you're like, you're side scrolling. At other points, you're like doing a top down like fucking shooter with like a ship and shit. It's weird. It's a weird game, but it's a lot of fun. And is the story something special? Not really. It's just it's a little weird. But it's a Japanese game. It's a little weird, but overall it's just a fun experience. And honestly, if you make it to the end, if you feel like deleting your save, you can to help people out. I told you about that.
Yeah,
you
told me about it. We actually discussed it on the show.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to playing it, man.
My save.
I'm really looking forward to it. That's one of the few like Black Friday deals that I knew I had to jump on when I saw that.
And another reason you'll like it. One of the reasons I really enjoy the game is I love the music.
Oh, I love. You know how I feel about video game music.
Dude, I think you are more into video game music than I am, but I am still really heavily into video game music.
Yeah.
Nier soundtrack is fantastic.
It actually won Best Music at the Game Awards.
Yeah, so I'm gonna shout it out right now. When you get to it, when you do play it, the amusement park.
That's the moment that everybody talks about. Yeah,
it's so good, dude. It's so good.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to play it. I'm really looking forward to it. It's just a matter of time. I like I said, I think next on my list is Assassin's Creed, and then after that, I think I'm gonna go head first into Nier, and I'm really hoping that I can finish both of them up before Monster Hunter.
This is actually a good question. Are you actually planning on doing the 3 main endings?
I would like to. We'll see how it goes.
Because that's the amount I actually love of that game. Is like, yeah, you can just legit, because it's one of those games that has like A through fucking Z, whatever the hell. But like,
yeah, I probably will.
But there's only like 3 that matter, and but yeah, I've done like the main endings. That's all I care to do.
That's probably what I'll do because you play as 3 different characters to access them, right?
Yeah, so the deal is like Route A is where you play as the main character 2B. Then the second playthrough is you play as this. Basically, there was like the sidekick as 9S,
right?
And then now the deal with the last playthrough is that's actually the truest playthrough.
Okay.
So the deal with the final playthrough is it actually takes place after, because Route A and Route B are the same game. You're just playing through the eyes of 9S and 2B.
Okay.
Route C is where it takes place after that.
Okay, so the differences between Route A and Route B, in other words, are gameplay differences. Route C is an actual story difference.
Yes.
I see. Okay.
So so you really should play through all of them.
I will. Yeah, that's the way that I'll handle it.
I mean, you can honestly do what I did. Like, I played Route A, took like a month off, played other games, came back, did Route B, took another fucking month off. Yeah, it's a good fun time. That's why it's pretty high on my list. So
yeah, I'm definitely again, that was one of those things where as soon as I saw that it was going on sale, I was like, that's gonna get instantly bought.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Stardew Valley. I fucking love this game, and this is like the one game that I wish I had more time to play. Because when I play this game, when I sit down and I play Stardew Valley, I'm just fucked. Like I know my next like 3 hours of my life are just spoken for. It is so, it's just so addictive, and like it came out on Switch. I think it came out on PC last year. So this is another, I guess, cop out if you want to call it that. But it came out on Switch this year, and that's where I'm playing it. So for the first time,
It's actually reading that one book. I was what was it? Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. I actually wanted to play that game my damn self.
it's just so like, it's so relaxing and rewarding, and just technically impressive, because this is another situation where like Eric Barone made this entire thing on his own, music and all, and it has, I mean, and the music is fantastic, and like the pixel art is great, and like the gameplay is phenomenal. It's basically a 2D pixel art Harvest Moon, and it's really really good, man. Like like I said, it's so addicting. Like when I sit down and play it, it's all I want to do. And you can just lose hours. Just you can spend an entire day in game like just clearing off like trees on your farm and shit. It's really really good. If you're into Harvest Moon, this is a no-brainer. Like you should absolutely pick up Stardew Valley. I don't want to talk too much more about it, because it's kind of like, it's one of those things where like articulating what you like about it is really easy, but like you kind of don't understand what's so great about it until you actually get your hands on it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So again, if you have an inkling to play something like this, I recommend that you do so. Anyway, what's your number 3?
I mean, I don't really know if there's much left to say about this game because you already kind of covered it.
Yeah.
But my number 3 is a Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's everything Seth said. It's the best game it could be, really.
Yeah, it's the best it is. It's the best there is at what it does.
Yeah,
it's the Wolverine of open world games.
Yeah, there's really not much left to say. That's my number 3.
Fair enough. My number 3 is What Remains of Edith Finch. You didn't actually play this. You watched like a video of this, right?
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't play it, but I did watch it. I do want to play it myself and experience it, but like, dear Lord, I do enjoy what I've seen from that game.
Fantastic game. So good. I knew immediately, like, basically my top 3 games for this year, I basically knew instantly.
Right from the get-go.
Right from the get-go. I basically knew that was basically locked. So like Edith Finch, I knew as soon as I got done playing it that was an extremely special experience. I am somebody, I know a lot has been made of like the walking simulator genre.
It is definitely a walking simulator, but it's a damn good one.
It is, but it does so many different unique things that really sets it apart from its other contemporaries. So like another game that I want to shout out, it's not on my top 10 list, but I really enjoyed Tacoma this year. Tacoma is more of a traditional quote-unquote walking simulator, but again, it has a unique hook to it too. Edith Finch has some really interesting gameplay things that it does, and it really does feel like going through just this wonderful story of this unfortunate family and picking up the pieces that were left behind and finding out the story of these people. And God, that fucking fishery, man. The fishery segment where you're playing as this member of the Finch family who is working at this dead end job where he's literally just cutting the heads off of fish all day long, and it causes him to go fucking insane.
Oh yes.
And he starts to lose himself in this fantasy world, and the way that the game handles it is so fucking brilliant. Because you're doing this monotonous task. The player is. You're actually controlling grabbing the fish, moving it over to the sort of cleaver, and chopping off the head and throwing it. The player is doing that just over and over and over again. And as the character sort of loses himself more in his imaginary crazy world, it it's overtaking more of the screen to where eventually you can't even see what's going on because you're seeing so much of his little fantasy world, and you're playing the fantasy world version at the same time as you're doing his monotonous day job, but you've grown to know it so well. You've grown to know grabbing the fish and chopping the head off so brainlessly, just like the player character does, like just like the character in the game does. He's just on autopilot doing it, and so you are too. It's fucking brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
there's a lot of just absolutely brilliant shit in that game.
it's like that, like from a game design perspective, that nails just that moment, putting yourself in that player, into that character's shoes as the player. Like, you perfectly feel the way that character felt in that moment of just monotonously doing that job, but at the same time living in that kind of fucked up, crazy fantasy world that you've made for yourself. And man, what an awesome game. What an awesome experience. And that fishery level is like, it really stands out. There are several great vignettes in the game that are worth talking
there's
about.
There's definitely some. You can talk about each and every one of those little scenarios.
Yeah, like they're all great, but that fishery one was, after I played that, I was like, fuck, this is one of the best games of the year. Like,
yeah,
that was the one where I was really like, fucking A. What's your number 2?
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and this honestly could have been my number 1.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't think you knew a whole hell of a lot about it until I started evangelizing it on the show.
Yeah, it was because of you that I ended up playing this game, and it's a very special game. It's a very important game, and I really enjoyed it, like every second of it. I mean, the only issue, like I think you didn't even say, but the only glaring issue is it doesn't really need the combat.
Yeah,
of the game.
I purposefully did not mention that because I thought you would for sure talk about the combat.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk about it. So yeah, the combat is not really needed in the game. I don't think the story needed it because just the story on its own was enough to carry it through to being just such a special game.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do enjoy some of the moments with the combat. I do love when that music does ramp up a little bit. I do enjoy that. Don't get me wrong.
The combat that's there is fine. Like, I think it's a serviceable combat.
There's moments with the audio design that I absolutely love with the combat. Like, I'm just sitting there fighting, and all of a sudden it's just like, watch out, behind you.
Yeah, the voices in Senua's head are like, behind you.
Yeah, instantly I fucking dodge. I just legit, like, you see a blade just land right where I was. I'm like, ooh, that right there is delicious.
That shit's cool. That is very cool. And the combat is very, like, visceral, for sure. Mm-hmm. But there are several moments in the game where you're just pitted against these fucking like waves of enemies, and I'm just like,
yeah. There's the, that's the part right at the end of the game, not exactly at the end,
right?
But like where you're in like this water, basically,
right,
just continuously going forward. I'm just like, how many more enemies are you gonna shit at me?
I'm just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I mean, and there's some cool little like pieces of combat design in there, but again, I almost feel like the game didn't need it at all.
It definitely doesn't need it, but like it's still a very, very important game, very special game.
Yeah, phenomenal game.
It easily could have been my number 1.
What's hilarious is I think, in a weird way, like you and I both have the same number 1, and we'll get to that in a minute. But in a weird way, Hellblade is almost the Nerd Bourbon game of the year because that game, for one thing, the seed was planted in your head to play that game based on me talking about it on the show. And it's also like the episode of Shots that we did is really special because it's the most successful thing we've ever done. So in a weird way, Nerd Bourbon like means a lot to the show. So like we have a number 1, which is technically the Nerd Bourbon game of the year, but I feel like Hellblade is almost also the Nerd Bourbon game of the year.
It is. I can definitely agree with that because I absolutely love Hellblade. And I honestly will probably... Actually, I'm going to shout out one of my favorite moments is... the part in the game when you're like... It's completely pitch black?
Yeah.
I fucking love that level.
Yeah,
that level actually left me unnerved.
Oh, yeah.
Like with the headphones on, I was getting legitimately scared.
I can't stress it enough. Like, I know we're beating this dead horse, but seriously, play this fucking game with headphones on or don't play it at all.
it is like if you're playing this without headphones, you are doing it wrong. You're not getting what when they designed this game, that is what they designed it for. They legitimately tell you, and before you start playing, please play with headphones. Like it enhances everything.
The game is short. It's like between 4 and 6 hours long, but it is filled. And I think I even mentioned this in the episode of Shots that we did. It's filled with these memorable moments, like you just shouted out. Like every scenario in the game is memorable. I'll never forget Hellblade. Very, very special.
No,
game.
never. It's such an important game.
Yeah. So I'll do my number 2, and then we both have the same number 1. My number 2 is Super Mario Odyssey, surprising nobody.
That did not surprise me.
It just I knew again instantly.
I said this. If I played it before we recorded this, it would have probably been on my list.
Oh, it totally would have, yeah.
Yeah, easily, but like I haven't got around to playing it yet. So
yeah, what a great game, man! What a phenomenal game. Again, not perfect, not my favorite 3D Mario game, but still, even a 3D Mario game that isn't my favorite is still gonna be near the top of my list. Like it's just a fantastic game. Like I've sort of said a lot about it in previous episodes, but I mean, just pitch perfect gameplay. Changes up the Mario formula in significant ways. Actually touches on like some weirdly significant story beats to the Mario, I guess, lore. Fantastic music. Like I think this could have been a front runner for best music of the year. I can't say enough good things about it. Again, not perfect. I have my issues with Mario Odyssey. I think that there literally could have been half as many moons in the game. Because, once you get to the end of the game, shit starts to get real, like, grindy, I 100%ed it. I literally, like, got 999 moons and, like, did everything there is to do in the game. And, my world is a little less bright because of it. I actually was just talking to Anastasia, my fiance, yesterday. I was just like, I wish I had more to do in Super Mario Odyssey. like I just miss being in that world. Like, it's just so... It's so fun. Like, the game is so fucking fun. It's just the quintessential fun Nintendo experience. And we talked about this on a previous episode where, like, that's the first game your dad's played in how long,
Yes. Yeah, it's like first, like, yeah, that's actually, he bought the Switch. I think he bought the Switch version.
Yeah, like the
Nintendo
Mario
Switch,
bundle.
Mario Odyssey special, or bundle, or whatever. Yeah, I know you're jealous of the red Joy-Cons.
Yeah, I love those red Joy-Cons. Yeah, but that is the power that Mario and Nintendo have. It's just such a pure... Mario just represents such a pure gaming experience. We almost everybody knows who Mario is or has played a Mario game. Like, my fucking grandma knows Mario. You know what I mean? And there's just something... He's like Mickey Mouse. Like, there's just something classic about Mario. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I definitely agree with that.
Fantastic game. If you have a Switch, it's a no-brainer. Let's go ahead and just say our number 1. This will surprise absolutely nobody, but yeah, our number 1 is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
The surprising no one. I think we've been basically saying that's going to be our game of the year for
for forever. Yeah, like. I knew it immediately. Like, it was no surprise to me. As soon as I played Breath of the Wild, I was like, yep, it's one of those things, man. Like, sometimes you just know. Like, back in, like, 2015 or whatever, when I walked out of the theater after seeing Mad Max, I was like, well, I'm not going to see a better movie than that this year.
No, that's some real shit right there with Mad Max.
That's how it was for me this year. After I finished Breath of the Wild, I was like, well, that's the best game of the year.
Yep.
I mean...
It's like, how much more can we harp on this game being so fucking good?
It almost
I think
feels...
we've had an entire, like...
Yeah, it feels weird to, like, have a game and announce it as your number 1 game of the year and then, like, not really have much more to say about it.
Because it's been 6 months of, like, you harping on it. I've occasionally harped on it. It's like, what else can we say?
You could probably go through our 30 episodes now and pick out all of the Breath of the Wild discussion and make an entire other episode of this podcast.
Yeah.
That's like an hour and a half long, just based on all the discussion we've had on Breath of the Wild. I mean, the game is fantastic, and some new DLC just came out that really kind of breathed new life into it for me, and I'm having fun just turning it on, just playing, just collecting Korok seeds. I mean, it's just a fucking great game. It shakes up the open world genre in significant ways. Like, it was so jarring playing Horizon and just not being able to just climb everything. Like, it's one of those design things where it has the mark of a great piece of game design, where I just, after finishing Breath of the Wild, I was like, I don't want to play another open world game that does not have this,
I've said this before, is like, I actually did the smart thing and played Horizon first.
I couldn't do that.
And then I know it was actually kind of hard for me to do, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play Horizon, then I'm gonna jump into Breath of the Wild.
So yeah, Horizon came out literally a week before the Switch and Zelda came out, and that just was not, like, I'm such a huge Nintendo fan. Zelda is my favorite franchise. Like, I could not stop myself. Like, I picked up my Switch. Like, my Switch was paid off months in advance, and I got the big collector's edition of Zelda. Like, there was Horizon go fuck itself for all I'm concerned. Like,
I already know.
You know what I mean? Like, it was all about Zelda in that moment. But
yeah, I do plan on jumping back into Breath of the Wild, actually checking out the DLCs.
Yeah,
and
I really like the suite of DLC they've added for Breath of the Wild. I know some people are butthurt about it, but I really like the sort of new challenges, and between Trial of the Sword and now Champion's Ballad, which I talked about a couple episodes ago.
Get that plug.
Yeah, you gotta. I'm the master of the plug, Todd. You're sort of got this suite of interesting new ways to play an already interesting game. So just as a whole package, I think Breath of the Wild is just the best that gaming has to offer this year. It's a fucking great game. It's one of the best games ever made. Full stop. I don't know how many times I have to say it. You need to play Breath of the Wild. So shit, with that, I guess, I guess we can go ahead and say Breath of the Wild was both of our number ones. So I think that makes it the de facto Nerd Bourbon Game of the Year. But we do got to give that side Game of the Year award to Hellblade.
No, definitely. Like Hellblade again. Like I said, Hellblade could have easily been my number one.
So I wanna imagine Link and Senua are standing next to each other, and we would have to like put the sort of medal around both of their necks. Yeah. That's sort of where we're at right now. I think Zelda / Hellblade is the official Nerd Bourbon Game of the Year. Maybe that's a cop out, but I don't really give a fuck.
Fuck it. Who cares? Who gives a shit?
I think we've explained ourselves well enough. Before we stick a bow on 2017, man, let's go through and look forward a little bit at some of our most anticipated games of 2018. A lot of these don't have confirmed dates. But we can kind of go through and talk about just quickly some of the things that we're looking forward to. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. But I think and we both talked about this a little bit. But Monster Hunter World, I think, is the first game that you and I are both getting in 2018.
Yep. And I'm super hyped for it.
Can't wait to play that. Can't wait to stream that. I think another game we're both getting. I think we're both getting Shadow of the Colossus remake on PS4.
Yes, I do plan on picking that up.
Yeah. I've got Owlboy coming out on Switch, which I can't wait for. Switch has just become such a perfect indie device for me. And Owlboy, I've been long wanting to play that. They're also putting out Bayonetta 1 and 2 on the Switch, which I'm definitely going to be picking up because I actually never finished Bayonetta 2. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. It's actually interesting that Sea of Thieves is coming out so soon. That might be something worth checking out at some point. That comes out March 20th, and I kind of want to try it.
We're gonna have to check that out on our computers.
Yeah, probably so. That's probably some real shit. A game that we March 23rd, A Way Out. I actually kind of want to play that with you because that's a co-op game.
Oh, is it the one with the prison?
Yes, like the prison escape.
Yeah,
game?
I wouldn't mind that. That'd actually be a cool thing to play.
But the big one in March, Far Cry 5, that's for sure going to be...
Oh, you already know. That's going to be a mainstream game right there. Probably a full playthrough of me and you.
Yeah, that's sort of the end of the things that have confirmed dates. But I mean, Anthem is supposed to be coming out next fall. That's going to be huge, I think.
Mm-hmm. Unless it flops and then BioWare gets shut down.
I guess we'll see, man. I think Anthem. I think Anthem's got a lot of potential. I'm really excited about it. Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. Can't wait for that. I know you're looking forward to Code Vein.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm looking forward to it. I have an interest in it because it's any Souls like my ears perk up and I'm like, all right, what you about?
Combat.
What you gonna be doing? Give me that sweet combat. But
yeah, I'm looking forward to Concrete Genie. Crackdown 3 will one day come out, I think. Darksiders 3, like holy shit, I can't wait for that.
Oh shit, yeah, Darksiders 3. That's
I almost forgot that was a thing.
I fucking I remember when you told me like you sent me an article or sent me the trailer for it or some shit. I freaked out. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I can't wait. Days Gone will one day come out whenever Sony decides to put a release date on that. Detroit Become Human looks great. Dreams is finally going to come out. There's some good shit coming out. God of War is a big one for me. I thought for sure that God of War was going to have its date announced at PSX. I still think it's going to be in the first half of 2018. I think that March date was probably legit. So we'll see.
Mm.
I just feel it's going to be weird. Are they just going to unceremoniously announce it in a press release? Like, we're just going to wake up one day and see on Kotaku, like, oh, God of War is coming out in March.
That's about right. You're probably right about that.
I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3, what more do I have to say about that? That's supposed to be coming out in 2018 if it doesn't get pushed. So Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be fucking awesome. We got a new Kirby game coming to Switch. Mega Man 11 obviously is huge. I'm just going down the list here, man. Like, there's some great shit coming in 2018. Psychonauts 2, Red Dead Redemption 2. Man, it's huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man.
I'm actually looking forward to that game.
Yeah, like totally, man. The final season of Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us season 2. I mean, fuck, man. I'm just looking at all of this stuff. A new expansion for Warcraft. Like, there's some great shit coming out in 2018.
You think we're gonna jump back on?
Oh yeah, we are. Are you shitting me? We can lie to ourselves and act like we're not. We can act like we're not gonna play the new WoW expansion, but you know we are.
Yeah. Let's
not lie to ourselves. Did I miss anything? Is there any 2018 game that I should shout out before we wrap this up?
I mean, I'm starting from the end here. See if you missed anything.
I don't think I did. I think I covered most of the big ones that I'm looking forward to anyway.
You missed one that I'm looking forward to.
What's that?
Skate 4.
Oh, fuck. I should have seen it coming. I should have seen it coming. Fuck you. Why did that take me by surprise? I respect it though. Good Skate 4 does my heart good. What a good way to end out the year, Todd. Mm-hmm. It shall end as it began.
With Skate 4.
That was a good way to end up the year. Good on you. So let's wrap this bad boy up. You've been listening to Nerd Bourbon. If you had a good time listening to us go through our top 10 games of the year and talk shit about each other's lists, go ahead and throw us a follow or a sub on whatever service you're listening to us on. If there's a service we aren't currently on that you want us on, let me know so I can make that happen. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, or concerns, please leave them. If you leave me a cue, I will provide an A. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdbourbon, and we are at nerdbourbon on Twitter. And as I always say, the best and only way for us to grow is if you tell your friends. Thank you guys so much for listening to us this year. We'll see you in 2018. Get fucking dunked on one last time. Bye.
See ya.